Yes, we're recording. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Metaphysical Bible Hangout. I'm Reverend Sherri James, Senior Minister for Understanding Principles for Better Living Church, and I am so excited to be here. It is 2019. Geez, we started doing this in 2013, so this is year 6 for the Bible Hangout, and I'm over the moon, and can't wait to jump into this year. I've got some good things that are coming down the pipeline. Some of them you've been hearing about. If you're on my mailing list, you've been hearing about some of them. So those are things that you're going to start that I'm going to start promoting in the next couple of weeks. But something that we're going to be doing different this year, and it came out of a survey in getting ready for my class. But someone said, could we focus on the application of all the stuff that we're getting? And I thought, yeah, because you only get the part of God, only get to keep the part of God that you actually practice. That was actually something from Emmett Fox. He says that in the 10 Commandments. And he said the only part of God that you keep is the part of God that you practice. So everything that you've learned in books, everything that you've learned in classes, everything that you have learned anywhere, the only part of it that you keep is the part that you practice. Because when you practice it, you incorporate it into who you are. And so this year we're going to do fewer series. And what we're going to do with the series is that we're going to go through the material and just kind of study the material. And then we're going to take a certain amount of time. I'm allotting 4 weeks for the mental equivalent because it's that powerful, which is our first text for 2019. But we're going to take what we have learned, and then we're going to implement it in and talk about how to practice it in our lives. So this series will be taught in 4 parts, and then we're going to take another 4 parts to apply all of the different things. And so I'll have different exercises and things for you to prepare and to work on. So very excited about that. I don't even know who made that suggestion, but thank you, because it was an awesome suggestion. And so with that, I'm going to dive into tonight's conversation. Like I said, I'm Reverend Sherri James. I'm the Senior Minister of Church. We are a Bible-based New Thought church in Inglewood, California. We were founded by the Reverend Dr. Delores Lett in 1986, and she appointed me as her successor, and as the Senior Minister in March 2015. Some of you are aware, many of you are aware that she made her transition November 2017. And so I have been moving in that position, carrying on that legacy. It has been an incredible blessing to just to study with her personally, and then to carry the responsibility along with many other people to keep her legacy alive, her spiritual legacy alive. So very excited about that and glad that to be a part of that. This class, I always liken it to Inception. And Inception is this amazing movie that is about what it means to plant an idea in the mind and heart of someone to such a degree that it becomes that person's truth. And my desire for the Bible Hangout is that this idea that you are divine, this idea that you are more than you ever imagined yourself to be, that you are not simply physical, but there is a non-physical essence of you, and that non-physical essence of you is the truth of you. My prayer, my hope, my intention with this is that this idea lands in your heart, and that it just sticks to your bones in such a way that it becomes your own truth, and it becomes how you govern and run your own life. Knowing that you're divine, knowing that you are bigger than any circumstance you may be facing, because what's inside of you makes you so. We always do an opening prayer, and so if you would just take a moment with me to just relax. And I want to do something a little different. I want to ask you to simply breathe. One of the things that I have been working on over this holiday season is the breath, and I've been doing a lot of breath work, and I'm going to be talking a lot about that over the course of the year, because it has been healing for me. I'll give you just a really, really brief testimony. A couple of years ago, we had a planks challenge that was going around social media, and I joined in on it. And I actually developed like a mass. You can still see a little bit of residue from it, a little mass on my arm. And I was like, oh my God, like, hello? And it was much bigger than this, much, much bigger than this. And nothing could get rid of it. I massaged it, I prayed over it, I shouted about it, I did everything that I knew to do, and nothing would just release it from my experience. And then at the end of the year, I started getting into breath work and practicing that. And in very short order, one day, I don't even remember where I was, but I brushed my hand across my wrist, and I realized that this mass that had been there, that had been a challenge for me, had left. And whatever little residual was there was not enough to make a difference. And so that's when I really started to dive in to understand the breath. And so what I'm going to ask you to do right now is to just take a deep cleansing breath. And if you could breathe through your nose and let the air travel all the way down to your diaphragm, and hold, and then exhale. One more time, inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Father, Mother God, we just bless this conversation tonight. We thank you for what you have for us. We open our hearts, we open our minds, we open our spirits to grow, to stretch, to be more than we ever imagined ourselves to be. We accept that we each have a divine calling on our experience, and we open our hearts and our minds to receive it. May this class be to your glory. May it awaken inside of each of us a deeper understanding of our divinity. In the name and nature of Jesus the Christ, we affirm that it is so, and so it is. And amen. Okay, how'd I feel? Good? Good. So the deep breathing it's really, really powerful. One of the things that I learned over the holidays is just that all of the panic receptors in the body are all in like the torso area. And because of our sedentary lifestyle and the state of stress that many of us live under, that very often our breath is like concentrated right here. And so that shallow breathing keeps us constantly in this fight or flight state. And just the simple act of slowing down and sending the breath down into the diaphragm and then back out through the nose, in and out through the nose, that it oxygenates the body and that your breath is restorative, that it is, besides your mind being the connecting link between you and God, your breath also is that connecting link between you and God. So you can look up tons of resources online for breath work. And there is a YouTube channel that I like called Breathing Mantra, and I'll make sure I put this in the show notes. There's a YouTube channel called Breathing Mantra, and they have a number of different breathing videos. Now it has some Indian music, and I I sent it to one of my clients, and they were like, I don't know if I like the music. Okay, don't pay attention to the music, but the breathing technique though is powerful, and that's the part that you want to hone in on. All right. So our text for this series is the mental equivalent. I sent you a link in the mailing list. I'll put it in the show notes for a free copy of the mental equivalent, which you can get at my friend Mark Hicks's website, truthunity.net. Now, the mental equivalent was a book that was written in 1943. So this is, it feels like ancient wisdom. It's not ancient wisdom, but it is a powerful, powerful, powerful little text that Emmett Fox wrote, and it's timeless. It really is classic. And one of the things that he wants you to get through this process or through this text is that everything has a mental equivalent. Every physical expression has a mental equivalent that precedes it. So we're at the beginning of the year, and everybody is looking at their New Year's resolutions. What are the things that they want to create? What are the things that they want to have for themselves? And where do they want to be? Because here's the thing, December 31st is coming. So there's no getting away from December 31st, 2019. It's on its way. The question is, okay, what do I need to be doing today so that when December 31st gets here, I can say with clarity that this year doesn't owe me anything. And one of the things that you absolutely need for your life is you need a vision. You need a very clear vision for your life, but then your vision needs a plan. Your vision needs a plan. Now, I believe that planning is the highest form of faith, because when you sit down to make a plan, inherent in the act of planning is the belief that what you are planning for could be. Now, that belief might be this small, but it's enough that you sat down to compel you to sit down and put pen to paper. So when you begin to write out a vision, you actually begin to build belief in the vision. Sometimes we have goals, sometimes we have dreams, but we don't have a belief in them, and so we never take the action of writing out a plan for it. It just remains this thing that we have a vision for, but we never do anything about it. When you sit down and when you put it on paper and you just begin to map it out, even if it's just sketches on a napkin, or when you begin to work that plan, that in the act of building the plan and working the plan is the natural effect of believing in the plan. So the scripture says it's done unto you according to your belief. One of the ways that you build belief is through planning. One of the ways that you build belief is through planning. There is this trust that happens when you plan. There's a belief that I'm putting something down that could happen. But from a spiritual standpoint, you are sending a message to your subconscious mind. You're sending a message to your subconscious phase of mind, and you're saying, this thing that I'm writing down is the thing that I want. You're holding it in front of the subconscious mind. Incidentally, the subconscious mind only knows to work on what you hold in front of it. And one of the things that you can do to begin to make it easier for you to hold your goals is to simply read them every day. Because what happens is that your subconscious mind is a goal-seeking mechanism, and it goes for what you hold in front of it every day. And so when you hold in front of your subconscious mind your goals, ideas begin to come, avenues begin to open to draw to you. You literally magnetize yourself for your dream. It is your writing and then your reading of your dreams, your goals. It's a form of communication with God, and it's the written dream is the dream itself in its beginning stages. So many of you know the verse Habakkuk 2:2, and it says, "Write the vision and make it plain on tablets." My iPad up here, so I don't have to look over so far. It says, "Write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it." Write the vision and make it plain on tablets so that he may run who reads it. Now, have you ever read anything that made you run? Have you ever read something that as you were reading it, it excited you so much that you got up and took action. So God speaking to us through the prophet Habakkuk says, write this thing down. Right? Whatever it is that you want, just put it down on paper. And put it down on paper in such a way that it incites you to take action. Now, here's the thing. So I didn't know this before I was preparing this lesson. Every time I have read that scripture, and I've read that scripture several times, I feel like I have quoted that scripture several times. I thought that scripture always said that your vision needed to be clear enough so that someone who was running could read it. I don't know if that's what you read. Let me know in the comments. Is that what you read? That it needs to be clear enough so that somebody moving fast would be able to capture it. But that's not what it says. That's really not what it says. It clearly says, so that he may run who reads it. So that he may run who reads it. And so the question that I have for you, and the question that I came to for myself is, Sherri, does your vision make you run? Does your vision for your life? Okay, Alita says, no, I always thought it was a plan. Same thing. Vision, well, yeah. I'm making a distinction here. Vision is like, what does the end result look like? Where am I headed, right? And the plan, I'm defining as like the steps to get to it. But for this part of the conversation, same thing. But I certainly read it as if someone running would be able to read it and that it would be clear. And that's not what the scripture says. I mean, you just pull up your Bible. This is not what the scripture is very clear. So that he who reads it may run. And so it made me step back and just take a look at my own vision from my experience. Sherri, does your vision make you run? Or does it make you kind of roll over on the couch that you're sitting on? So when you're writing down your vision, it needs to inspire you. It needs to feel like, yeah, like you when you read it, you need to get tingly, like I can't wait for this to come about. Write the vision so that he who reads it may run. Totally different than what I read. And I've been reading that scripture for years. I have quoted Habakkuk 2 and 2 in papers. And I'm telling you that this is the first time I realized it said that he may run who reads it. So what kind of emotion does your vision evoke in you? Alita says, this is good because all week I've been reading about having passion for things. Yes. What kind of an emotion? So you've heard Reverend Ike say, feeling gets the blessing. Feeling gets the blessing. What have you written down what it is that you want from God on paper? Keep stressing that. I think you could type it out, but listen, we ain't millennials. Write that out on some paper. Write it out on some paper, and let's get into the feeling of it, and write it in such a way that it makes you excited, like full of life. You know, when you think about, when you look at it on paper, does it pull you towards it? That's the question. Does it pull you towards it? And then write it out in detail. Write it out in detail. In Isaiah 45:11, God speaking to us through the prophet Isaiah says, concerning the works of my hands, you command me. Oh, I love that. Andrea says, my vision literally makes me dance. I know that's right. Get up in the, hey, my vision. Yes, that's a good vision. That's a good vision. Concerning the works of my hands, you command me. We have been living life as if we are waiting for God to tell us what we want. God already told us what we want. That's why we have these desires inside of us. I'm speaking of your righteous desires, meaning your desires that don't harm anyone, your desires that don't take from another person, your desires that prosper everyone involved, including yourself. So the righteous desires that are in you, God already told you what he wanted to do through you. It's already there. That school you want to build, that's God wanting to do that through you. That um, um, ministry you want to start, that's God wanting to do that through you. That degree that you want to complete, that's God wanting to do that through you. So what God is saying in Isaiah 45:11 is that concerning the works of my hands, you command me, you tell me. But listen, I want to get clear on what are the works of God's hands, because maybe that's one of the places that we may have some confusion. The works of God's hands, as far as you are concerned. Malayla says, I agree. There's something about writing it on paper. Yes. At the works of God's hands, as far as you are concerned, are the gifts, the talents, and the abilities that God packed you up with. You have gifts, you have talents, you have abilities that are uniquely yours. And they were given to you before you got here. Some of you were born with the gift of song. Some of you were born with the gift of just understanding numbers and understanding what we today call business, but you have just kind of a sixth sense about it, right? That these are the works. And so God is saying, concerning these works, these things that I gave you, these gifts, these talents, these abilities, you command me. You tell me what it is that you want me to do. And so I think about someone like Serena Williams, and so Serena says, God, you put the game of tennis in me, the ability to dominate the game of tennis in me. Help me do that. Oprah Winfrey, God, you put the gift of making people feel good about themselves and inspiring them to live their best life. Help me do that. The late Reginald Lewis, God, you put the gift inside of me to build billion-dollar companies. And I've got this dream of creating this leveraged buyout and creating one of the largest companies in the world, the largest leveraged buyout in history at the time that he did it. Help me do that. Concerning the works of my hand, you command me. Concerning the things that I put inside of you before you got here, you command me. This is what, so we have been waiting on God when in actuality God has been waiting on us. We have been waiting on God, and in actuality God has been waiting on us because we were born with desires. I think about my love of teaching. I've been loving teaching since I can't even tell you how long. In fact, everywhere I go, I teach, meaning even before I was doing this. I was in the entertainment industry, putting on workshops, trying to teach people how to go after their dreams in filmmaking. Everywhere I go, it's what I do. I worked at a fundraising company. And wouldn't you know it, I end up in a position where I'm teaching people how to make these fundraising calls. There's something like that for you where everywhere you go, you become that. Everywhere you go, you become that. And so this ability, it's natural to you. It doesn't mean you don't have to develop it. I'm certainly not the teacher I was when I first started. And I'm not the teacher I'm going to be as I continue to hone this gift. That's not what I'm talking about. It isn't that you don't need to develop it. There was a time when Serena Williams was not a champion tennis player. She was a little girl on a court figuring out how to get the ball across the net and not lose the game. But there is this, I don't know if the word is natural, but I want to say that it is the ability to pursue it and develop it is easy for you. And you have a sixth sense about it. There is a way that I understand teaching that is not something that I learned in the classroom because I wasn't formally taught to be a teacher. I didn't go to school to become a teacher, but I recognize that there is this innate gift that I have where the way that I understand how to share information, it just occurs to me. And as I do study teaching, let me be clear, I do study teaching and I do incorporate things that I study, but there's also a part of it that is intuitive. And that's what I'm saying about what God packed you up with, that it doesn't mean that you won't study how to get better. You absolutely will study how to get better, but there's a part of it that it just occurs to you what to do. It just, you know, and it's the kind of thing that wouldn't occur to somebody else because it's not their gift mix. It's not what they were packed up and sent to the earth with and given to do. So it's January 24th, 2019, and December 31st feels far, far away. Feels like, yeah. But I got news for you. It is coming. And the question is, how will you be different when December 31st gets here? This morning, as part of my prayer work, I read through Matthew 25, the parable of the talents. Matthew 25, the parable of the talents is there, and I know you know this, but I'm going to pull it up. And Jesus is talking about the kingdom of heaven. And the kingdom of heaven. And I thought this was so powerful. And this is what he says. So what he's saying is that the kingdom of heaven is like this. He says, for it is as if a man going on a journey summoned his slaves and entrusted his property to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. The one who had received the 5 talents went off at once and traded with them and made 5 more talents. I'm reading from the New Revised Version. In the same way, the one who had the 2 talents made 2 more talents. But the one who had received the 1 talent went off and dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those slaves came and settled accounts with them. Then the one who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 more talents, saying, Master, you handed over to me 5 talents. See, I have made 5 more talents. His master said to him, Well done, good and trustworthy slave. You have been trustworthy in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. And the one with the 2 talents also came forward, saying, Master, you handed over to me 2 talents. See, I have made 2 more talents. His master said to him, Well done, good and trustworthy slave. You have been trustworthy in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. Then the one who had received the 1 talent also came forward, saying, Master, I knew that you were a harsh man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you did not scatter seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here, you have what is yours. But his master replied, You wicked and lazy slave, you knew, did you, that I reap where I did not sow and gather where I did not scatter? Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and on my return I would have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to the one with the 10 talents. For all those who have, more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from those who have nothing, even what they have will be taken away. As for this worthless slave, throw him into the outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Now, I'm sure that seems harsh, but the law is do something with what you got. That's the bottom line. Do something with what you got. And so December 31st is coming. You have gifts and talents that have been packed inside of you. Not God willing, Sherri willing, because God is always willing. Sherri willing, don't let me be the teacher today, on December 31st, that I am today. I must be better. I must be better. And I'm saying this to you, that whatever it is that that is your gift and talent, maybe you have a talent for coaching people, or maybe you have a talent for cooking, or maybe you have a talent for sewing. I'm making things up, whatever comes to my mind. That talent should not be the same on December 31st. It should be better. You need a vision for where that talent is going to be. And so you want to begin to look at your gifts, your talents, your abilities, and begin to think, where can I be with what I have on December 31st? December 31st is coming. That is unquestionable. We know this. But who shall I be? How shall I be? Will I be the same kind of teacher? Will I be the same kind of businesswoman? Will I be the same kind of pastor? And my intent is to be like the servant who had 5 talents to come back and say, I double this. What would you need to do this year such that when December 31st comes, you are not the same? What would you need to do? And I do want to hear from y'all. What would you need to do? How would you need to be different so that when December 31st comes, you are not the same? I want to check the comments. Andrea, you said your vision makes you dance. Tell me what's going to be different December 31st. All right. Phyllis says, I just signed up to be a master coach by then. Yes. 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 Anybody else? December 31st is coming. Who are you going to be? Who are you going to be on December 31st? One of my goals is I am interested in serving more people. There is a Thursday coming. Y'all not on this Thursday, but there is a Thursday coming that I cannot not miss, which is March 14th. Yes, March 14th. Tony Robbins is coming to Los Angeles, and so I will be at Unleash the Power Within, and I will be doing the firewalk. So that class, I won't be here for that. But that's one of the things that I am signing up to increase my capacity to push through my own personal limitations. I also am doing some spiritual mentoring with Reverend Edwene Gaines. Those of you know, she wrote the 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity, and she is a master prosperity teacher. And so I work with her once a month. And then I also have some peer coaching that I'm doing as well, because again, this is part of stretching. Andrea says, I will be liberated, thriving in a new dream, home of my own, living as God created me to be, happy, whole, and free. Yes. Yes. Constance says, I will be a trainer of trainers and be certified to teach ethical considerations within the recovery community. I will be a certified master vision board coach. Yes, 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 yes. This is good stuff. Keep it coming, keep it coming. I'm going to keep moving, but I want to hear, what are you going to be? Because maybe you haven't thought about it. Maybe you wrote down goals, but they didn't consider your gifts and your talents, right? Maybe you wrote down a financial goal, but it didn't, which is a good goal to have. To be clear, you need some money. But the gifts and talents that God gave you, where are they going to be by the end of the year? That's the question we're trying to answer. Where are they going to be? So I want to keep doing it. I'm going to keep going. So here's the thing. We're in the U.S., so those of you that are watching in another country, you're probably aware of the circus we're going through right now politically. And it's a circus. It is very easy to let this circus that's happening in the media and happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue to capture your attention. Very, very easy to because it's everywhere. It's in the headlines. You can barely, open your social media feed without even if you say, you know what, I'm not even going to get involved in this conversation. It's just out there. It's just out there. And what I want you to know is that all distractions are equal. All distractions are equal. So no matter how sensational the stories are, you do have the power to not pay attention to them. You do have the power to give your attention wholly and completely to the power and presence of God inside of you. And in fact, I would say you have a responsibility. But here's the other thing. The scripture, Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision so that he who reads it may run. Can you write your vision in such a way that it's so compelling that when ABC News, and these are our news outlets here in the U.S., when ABC News and NBC News and CBS and Fox, when they put out whatever they put out, can you write your vision in such a way that they don't get your attention? Can you create words that are more powerful for you than the words they're using to try to arrest your attention? There is this term in the New Thought movement, and it's the mental equivalent. It's a term that was coined by Emmett Fox. Emmett Fox was an engineer by trade, and he borrowed the term mental equivalent from thermodynamics. And because there's a heat equivalent is where he borrowed it from. But essentially what it means is that there is a non-physical essence to every physical expression. There's a non-physical essence to every physical expression. And nothing exists in the physical until it has a belief to support it in the mental. Nothing exists in the physical until there is a belief to support it in the mental. So, and then as soon as the belief goes away, every corresponding form falls away. The moment the belief falls, expression falls away with it. And so, for example, we used to believe in polio and tuberculosis, and then we changed our minds about it, and the forms disappear. Now, there are little cases here and there because there are a couple folks that still believe in it. But in general, the belief in the larger collective belief in it is gone. And if you haven't been taught that life is lived from the inside out, it can seem like, well, they came up with a cure and then that's why it's gone. But life is lived from the inside out. Physical expression always follows belief. We came up with the belief that made the cure possible. Someone believed that it could be so. Enough people believed that it could be so, and then it became so. And everything works the same way. Deb says, Reverend Sherri, I can truly appreciate your perspective about media distractions and changing my focus on God and planning for my best life. Thank you. Constance said, now it's the belief in the big mustard. Yeah, we got to get that out of there too. Got to let it go. But that's going. That's going. You guys know I've shared with you the story of Dr. Hadia Nicole Green, young African-American woman down at Morehouse College who is experimenting with laser particles to shrink tumor cells. And she has found a way to do it and shrink them permanently. And then they went back and they said, okay, you got to find a way to monetize this. And so that's what she's in the process now of doing, which is building a protocol so that this technology can be turned into money. Because if you shrink cancer cells and just get rid of cancer, but nobody can make any money on it. That's a whole other conversation. Whatever enters your life is but the material expression of some belief that you hold in mind. First you believe it, and then you see it. So this is down to the type of car you drive, the type of house you live in, how your house is put together, what things look like, what clothes you put on your body, how you put yourself together, where you work, kind of people you meet. They all correspond to the mental equivalent. But I want to show you this in scripture. So I want you to pull up John chapter 5. John chapter 5. And this is a story that you have heard before. But I'm gonna read the story. It goes from verse 1 to I'll read a little bit. 15. After this, there was a feast of the Jews. I'll read to verse 8. John chapter 5, verses 1 through 8. After this, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now, there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool, which is called in Hebrew Bethesda, which means having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain time into the pool and stirred up the water, and then whoever stepped in first, after the stirring of the water, was made well of whatever disease he had. Now a certain man was there who had an infirmity 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he already had been in that condition a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" The sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I am coming, another steps down before me." Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your bed and walk." And immediately the man was made well, took up his bed and walked. Now, you know this story. I want to show you the mental equivalent. What this man had was essentially 2 driving beliefs that kept him out of the pool. The first was that he believed that he had no help. He believed that he had no help. And so he wouldn't take action for his own healing because he had no help. He got right up next to where he could get help, but then came up with an excuse for why he couldn't let go of the thing that had been plaguing him for 38 years. This is a mental equivalent. He is at the pool where the healing can happen, but he still has a reason why it cannot happen for him. Let me know if you're seeing this. Let me know if this is clear. He is right up on the edge of getting his healing, but can't let go of the thing that keeps him out of the pool. Now, here's the thing. He could have just jumped in the water while it wasn't moving. When you want something bad enough, rules don't matter. When you want something bad enough, it's like, well, I guess this water, I know it's supposed to wait for it to move, but I'm gonna just get in it. I'm gonna just see. let's just go for it. I'm gonna just see. And the thing is that when you don't have a vision for where you're going, you're content to wait by the side of the pool. And he had no plan for where life. He knew what life looked like with what plagued him, with the illness. That was clear. But he couldn't fathom a life without the illness. It didn't mean that he didn't want it, but he couldn't see it for himself. And so his excuse was sufficient for him. When you have no vision for your life or for some area of your life, your excuse for why things are the way that they are allowed to stand. When Jordan first came to live with me, figuring out cooking for him and cooking for me was something else. And his palate is like, he essentially eats fried chicken nuggets and pizza. I was talking to the school nurse and I was like, I feel like I'm failing him as far as nutrition is concerned. Fried chicken nuggets and pizza, fruit. That's the bright spot, fruit. Oh, and one vegetable, raw spinach. Not cooked spinach, raw spinach. So, so then what would happen is that I had this thing where I do not like to waste food. So, it took me a minute to figure out child portions. So I would cook food that was for like an adult. So I'd have all these nuggets. I don't eat nuggets, or I didn't eat nuggets. I don't eat nuggets. I don't eat all these French fries, all this stuff. But now I've got all this food sitting on the plate that he didn't eat. I might have made 7 chicken nuggets and he ate half of one. Well, moms, I know you can relate to this. I ate the chicken nuggets. I ain't gonna throw away no good food. It took me a minute to learn how to cook less. But so the thing is that I picked up the habit of finishing whatever it was that he didn't eat because I had this thing where I just couldn't throw it away. And my excuse of, well, cooking for him is so hard to balance, cooking for him and cooking for myself. And that's why my diet is out of whack. And are you following me?
Mm-hmm.
It was an excuse because I had, at the time, had no vision beyond that. It wasn't that I wanted to carry extra weight. It wasn't that I wanted to do that. But I didn't have something more compelling pulling me. And so my excuse was allowed to stand. It doesn't mean that the man didn't want to be well. He was at the pool. He wanted to be well, but he didn't have something to carry him over that last little piece. And some of us get right up next to what it is that we want, right up next to our good, but we don't have that vision that would pull us to take those final steps. And that's what's happening with this man here, that when you don't have a vision for where you're going, you're content to wait by the side of the pool. I don't have anyone to put me in. When you have a vision pulling you, you ain't looking for nobody to put you. I put myself in. You have to drop all excuses to living your vision. You really do. You have to drop all excuses. So the second mental equivalent that he had was this belief that someone was always beating him to his good. And I know you know people like this. I would have this if it weren't for that. I would have the weight that I want to weigh if I didn't have to like cook for a little kid who only ate like half of a chicken nugget. I would have the money that I need if this weren't, or for the fact that Jesus asked him, do you want to be made well? Okay. So I got a vision here. Brenda says, I will be the owner and operator of a venture capital company that funds startup businesses. Yes. Yes. I love that. So Jesus is asking the man, and then I had to ask myself, do you want to weigh what you say you want to weigh? Do you want to be made well? Because you've been coming here for 38 years and you haven't noticed one thing that can put you ahead of the game. Not 38 years of any. So, I like to make things practical. I like shopping at Walmart. I think the prices are good. I can get the things that I want. I don't have to spend a whole lot of money. But I discovered that shopping at Walmart is like a zoo. It is babies crying, the store is crowded, the lines are like out the door. I think the way that they get you not to bring anything back is they put 2 people in the customer service line so that the line to return is always just prohibitively long. But I learned something. I learned that people who shop at Walmart, and I don't mean to make a generalization, but a lot of people who shop at Walmart, did you know they don't get up before 11 a.m. or at least they don't shop before 11 a.m.? And so I found out, because I go there enough, that if I go there before 11 a.m., it's a completely different experience. You've been coming here 38 years. You haven't noticed one thing that could put you ahead of the game? Do you want to be made well? Sure, you've been cooking for this little boy for however long. You haven't noticed one thing that could put you ahead of the game. So we have to get present to the mental equivalents that we hold in our minds that keep us anchored to where we are. And what I'm saying for 2019 is, let's stop window shopping for our goods and go on in and buy the stuff that we want to have. Because whatever we have in our lives right now, whether it is health that we would like to be better, or money that we would like to be better, or relationships that we would like to be better, there is a mental equivalent that's supporting it. And the mental equivalent cannot leave until we drop the excuse that we have for why things are the way that they are. The truth is that there's nothing standing in the way of you and the realization of your vision. It wasn't a lack of help that kept him from his healing, or the people who kept beating him into the pool once the water stirred. His mental equivalent, his belief that he refused to let go of, kept him just at the edge of his pool. Got another vision coming in. Joe says, I will be completely healed and tell my story to help others. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. It's not the government. It's not your family. It's not who left you. It's not who stayed. It's not the mistake you made. It's not the mistake or the choice you didn't make. It is the mental equivalent. It's the belief that has to be released. So now, you got to get clear, because we all have things that we would like to be rid of. The first thing that you want to do is get clear on, what do I really, 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 really want this year? What do I want? Right. So I personally put down an income goal that I'm reaching for December 31st, right? What would need to happen for you so that when you get to December 31st, you can say with clarity that 2019 don't owe me anything. I squeezed all the life out of 2019. And I want you to be specific. We are wonderful in New Thought with our flowery words. But if you say, I want more money, if I give you 21 cents, you now have more money. You need to be specific. What do you want? Joe, I'm going to push back on your vision. What does healed look like? For example, is it greater flexibility in your body? Is it, I will be able to, stretch with ease, and I'll be able to do, a 6-minute plank, or give specifics. This is, and I think it's people in general, but I find in New Thought, we got some real flowery language. We like poetry. And, if you say, I want a life of love and peace and joy, that's too vague. That's just too vague. Because it don't really mean anything until you say what it is. What brings you love? What brings you peace? What brings you joy? So maybe this would be me, if I were saying peace and love and joy. I want to spend time with people I love at least three to four times a month. Given my work schedule, I want to have 3 to 4 times a month where I just hang out with friends and we just kick it. Or I want to spend, I want to spend 1 to 2 times per month in nature, where I'm just outdoors and I am, on a mountain, I'm hiking, or I am at a park and but I'm out in nature. And then I want to take one non-related vacation this year where I get to just beat this cat. I realize every vacation I take is work related. I'm at some conference, I'm speaking, and yeah, I'm traveling, I'm in another city, but I'm there to work. So I'm not there to just be. So I want to, the change that I want to see is I want to have a non-work related vacation. My point being is that you've got to get specific. So to say that I want love, I want joy, I want to be thriving, you got to say what thriving is. Because what is dreamed in vagueness manifests in vagueness. And so These flowery words are great for poetry. They are not great for establishing a vision for your life. What do you want specifically? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? What does it sound like? You want to get crystal clear on what is it that I am bringing into expression. That's what you want to do. And you know, so one of the things that I'm working on, I have done private classes. I haven't done one in a while, and this year I'm getting ready to launch my next private class. This is really exciting for me because it's just things that I've learned, you know, through working in this, you know, internet space, and I want, and then just all the studying that I've done. Like I have really stretched by leaps and bounds in terms of, you know, things that I have learned how to do, techniques that I've developed. You know, coming out of my own personal depression, you know, I can think back on holidays when I just didn't even want to crawl out of bed, and I would literally just stay in bed thinking about all the things that weren't the way that I wanted them to be. And then to be in a space now where that reality is so far from me that if you saw me compared to who I was, it would be like two different people. But there were very specific things that I did, specific steps that I took, spiritual techniques that I learned through working with Reverend Della, through studying with Dr. Mary Tumpkin, and studying with the works of the greats that helped me pull myself out of my own malaise, out of my own depression. And so I'm interested in sharing that information with the world. And so this is something I'm going to be releasing this year in the form of a private class. And so that's my specific goal. Is this making sense? So the question is, can you drill down on what it is that you're saying that you want, and put some sensory vividness around it? There are those details, those good hard details. You can bite into it. You can say exactly what it looks like. Then what I want you to do is I want you to answer the question, why don't I have it? If nothing is in my way, why don't I have it right now? Yes, there are steps to, like if you're completing a degree, because I know Constance, you said you're working on becoming a coach, a recovery coach. Yes. Phyllis says, what is your big motivating factor? Yes. Why don't you have it right now? So, and the reason that I asked that question of why don't you have it right now is because I want you to get clear on the mental equivalent that's keeping you from it. This is what I'm trying to drill down. I want you to get clear on the mental equivalent that's keeping you from what it is that you say that you want. Now, I asked this question a few weeks ago in a class. Someone said, well, it's my thinking. It's a great New Thought answer. Yes, it absolutely is your thinking, but what exactly are you thinking? We absolutely know change your thinking, change your life. But you got to get clear on what is it that I'm thinking that I need to change? What is it that I'm thinking that I need to change? So maybe it's that, you know what, I have this business idea. I want to sell this widget, but I don't have any startup capital, and I don't know anybody where I could get the money from. Okay, that's the mental equivalent right there. The belief that you don't have any startup capital and that you don't know where to go and get it. It's like the man that is at the pool of Bethesda. How come you've been here coming here 38 years? How come you're not in a pool? I don't have anybody to help me, and every time I get ready to get in, somebody beats me to the water, and only the first person in gets healed. That's the mental equivalent. That's what you're looking for. What do I want? And then what do I believe is in the way of what I want? Just landing. Yvonne says, I will create videos and in-person workshops focusing on mental wellness for Black people using mindfulness, meditation, and creativity. Ooh, that's nice and clear. How many videos, Yvonne? Where will these videos live? And I know you may have thought through some of this, but like even that, I will create these videos and they will live on YouTube, or they will live wherever, on my website, and they will be this long in length, and they will, like, you just keep refining it, keep refining it. So I want to be clear on what that mental equivalent is. Great, Yvonne is still working on it. Great. And I have another comment up here from Phyllis. What is your big motivating factor? Yes. What is the thing, the question that, because I want you to drill down on what's the mental equivalent. I want you to get at what's the mental equivalent that's keeping me from my dream. What's the thing that's in the way that's keeping me from my dream? So for me, with these classes, that, because this is not new. When I launched RevSherri.com, I started working on developing private classes. And at first it was, well, I don't know how to put the class out there. And then it was, well, there are other teachers out there that are teaching the same thing that I'm teaching. And then it was, oh, I've got Jordan, and so I don't have the kind of time freedom that I need in order to pull this off. And that's the mental equivalent. That's what you're looking for. What's the thing that's keeping you out of the pool? What's the thing that's keeping you out of the pool? Phyllis says, I am working on my 14-day reset cleanse. Just finished the videos and audios, working on the ebook and the email. Good. Good stuff. Yes. What's the thing that's keeping you out of the pool? What's the mental equivalent that's keeping you out of the pool? Joe says, what would my life look like if I was healed right now? Yes, that's it. That's what you're drilling down on. What would my life look like if I was healed right now? Well, I would have, and this is me speaking, Joe, I don't know if this is true for you, but I would have mobility. That's one of the things that I'm working on this year is my flexibility. So every night before I go to bed, I stretch for just 10 minutes to just develop that flexibility, that type of flexibility that I had when I was, a child. I don't believe that went anywhere. I believe that I stopped using my body the way that I did when I was a child. And so the flexibility went away. But that's the thing. What would that look like? What would that movement feel like for me? I'm just speaking about me, but I'm offering this to you because you're talking about healing in the body. So all of us are like the man with the pool of Bethesda. All of us are like him in some way. Meaning that all of us have something we want, and we have a mental equivalent sitting in front of what it is that we say that we want. And what we have to get clear on is, what is that mental equivalent? Because until you know what it is that's in your way, then there's no way to say, okay, now I know what I'm working with. I know that when I'm sitting in a space of inaction, I'm not taking action because I believe that that I won't have the kind of impact I want to have, or my voice will get drowned out because in a sea of teachers like me, I'm this size and they're this size, whatever that is. Yeah, Deb, you had a question. Go ahead, ask your question. Yvonne says, my mental equivalent is fear of failure, limited time, lacking credentials. Yes, that's it. That's what's keeping you out of the pool. And so now, metaphysically, Jesus symbolizes the I am, right? He symbolizes the I am. And this man metaphysically symbolizes all the beliefs, all the reasons we believe that we cannot have what it is that we say that we want to have. And what this interaction symbolizes is the action of bringing your excuses to I am. And so when you meet I am daily in prayer, when you meet I am daily in prayer, the excuses fall away. And so one of the things that you can do, Yvonne, and this is for everybody, is to write down what it is that you want on paper and go to God every day about it. Write down what you want on paper and go to God every day about it. At the same time every day, I recommend. And as you do that fear, failure, the confidence, all of that falls away. The only reason that fear, failure, and lack of confidence and all of those other things are able to stand is because we don't go to God every day about it. But if you faced it every day, it's like if you faced it every day, you would start to see things that you don't see about it right now. And there's a new level of seeing that will come about. I'm not explaining this well. If you go to God every day about it, about whatever it is, just talking to God, God, I have this dream, and then just writing down whatever intuitive nudges you get, your lack of faith and your seeming lack of faith and lack of motivation, and all of that lack of time, all of that, it would literally fall away. All of a sudden you would begin to see pockets where you can pull it off. So this is the question: what if there are so many desires in my heart and I find what's in my way is too many goals and not being focused on one thing at a time? And Barbara McCauley says, funny, just wrote my letter to God. Good. Yes. Yes. Ooh, Phyllis, okay, I'm going to deal with that, Phyllis. That's good stuff, Phyllis. All right, wait. Let me go back up here to this question. What if there are so many desires in my heart and I find what's in my way is too many goals and not being focused on one thing at a time? So all of that is solved by going to God daily about it. And I cannot stress that enough. Now, I'm going to give you a specific technique. I shared this earlier on the mastermind prayer call. So you take your goal. Mine are too far away to. Oh no, no. So this is my little work binder, but the goal. I got this sheet from Tony Robbins. You can download it off his site. 2019 goals mapping, and then you fill it out and you write down like the things that you want. And so he has 3 areas. He has personal growth and contribution, achievements and experiences, financial freedom and rewards, right? And then you write down the goal. You write down the goal, and then you write down the why, and then you write down 3 action steps, right? So he has you do that. So what I do every morning is I make myself a cup of coffee or tea. The drink don't matter. Okay. But I use the drink as a timer, so I try to make it hot enough that I can't just gulp it down. And then I read it, and I literally run my finger across the page as I'm reading it. So I don't read any faster than my finger is moving across the page. And then I sit in the feeling. So one of the things. So right now I work a part-time job on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at a financial services firm. And I am looking to release that experience and be full-time again for a church and for RevSherri.com. And so one of my personal growth goals is that I want to master showing up for myself each day. So, when you show up for a job, you have a very set time. You show up to work at a certain time. You're on task, throughout the day. You stop, you take your lunch, and then you're on task in the afternoon, and then you leave and go home. And what I realized is that I wasn't doing that for myself in terms of my own business. And so one of my goals this year is I want to master showing up for myself each day. And so what that looks like is that I don't cut into my work day when it's my work day. So if I'm in somebody else's office from 9 to 5, I can be in my office from 9 to 5 and on task all day. So that's one of my personal goals for myself in terms of how I'm showing up and how I'm running my day. That I want to master showing up for myself each day. And then, my why, Phyllis, you talked about this, your big motivating factor. I said, because I'm important. I give to everyone else Now it's my time to deliver the best for me. And so I wrote my actress that I commit to working, Thursday and Friday the way I work Monday through Wednesday for this company that I serve in on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So all I do is I literally just read through, run my finger across the page, and then I sit and I just, again, I use the cup as my timer, and I just sit and just imagine what that's going to feel like when I no longer have to go in to that job Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I just rest in that. If something comes, sometimes things come to me, and I'll jot down some notes. One of the things that came to me was to track my time. So literally I track what I do during the day, and I found that helps me stay on task. So when I change activities, I actually write an entry, like, and on just a regular sheet of paper. If I have one to show you. Okay, this is not a work day, but literally I'll start the day and I literally just write out the time. And so every time I do that, it helps me to stay on task, because what I found was that it helped me not get on social media. That was the first thing. One day I did this, and what the intuitive nudge that came was, take Facebook off your phone. It's a very, very simple, very, very simple thing to do. It's not like I don't go on Facebook anymore. You guys know I'm on Facebook. You see the posts and I comment on your posts and things like that. But because it's not on my phone, it doesn't have the same immediacy where I can respond to something really, really quickly. Now I've got to go through the effort to turn on my computer. It's an extra step I've got to take. And so it just helps me to stay on task. So again, all I'm doing is every day sitting down, running my finger across the page as I read the goals, imagining things and what it's going to be like to live that reality. And as the intuitive nudges come, I write them down and take action on them. One of the things that came out of doing this activity for this particular goal was to track my time. And so I wrote down, like, literally, 6 a.m. personal development, 7 a.m. get dressed, not 8 a.m. leave house, and I would literally just write those things down. And just doing that helped me to get present to my time. And so, it also helped me to just reduce when I would get off task and maybe start reading an article or, whatever. And then the intuitive nudge to take the Facebook app off my phone was a big game changer. So this is what I'm recommending as a technique for you, for your goals, for where you're going. So these dreams, these visions. So for you, she asked me that privately, so I don't know if you didn't want me to say your name out loud. But you talked about having so many dreams. How do you know where to drill down? If you literally just begin to do this every day for all of them, then the one that needs your attention and that deserves your attention will begin to present itself to you. But part of what keeps it vague and out here is that you haven't gone to God yet to get clear on which is the one to pay attention to right now. All right, Phyllis, you said something I thought was just amazing. So I believe that I'm called to speak to men and women who are past what do I say? Y'all are my target audience, right? People whose dreams have not died and who refuse to stop and who refuse to give up and who do not believe that simply because I'm not 20 that I'm just supposed to like roll over and take life as it comes. So that's why I wanted to just take my time with this question. So Phyllis wrote, what was keeping me out of the pool was that I was too old to start something new, but rethink that I am near retirement and will have the time to do much more than I'm now doing to empower caregivers as they are my niche. Yes. So I love that. I love that because dreams are not age dependent. They're not gender dependent. They're not sexual orientation dependent. They're not money dependent. What they are dependent on is, will you sit down with God every day and talk about it? it. Will you? Because whatever is the thing, right? Let's say that you are older than the 20-year-old that's doing what you're doing. God then has a way for you at your age to do what you still have a dream to do. What? No, can you pull all nighters the way you used to? No, I used to be the queen of all nighters, man. I could go 2 days, 2 or 3 days straight, pulling all nighters, working on stuff, whatever. And now, if I stay up too late, it's a wrap. But God has a way for me at this age, doing what I'm doing, to get it all done. And the way that I find out that way is that I go to God every day at the same time every day to get that information about how to get it done. And so things occur to me that are relevant for my talents, my gifts, my skill set, and my resources. So anyway, I love that question, Phyllis. I'm so grateful for that. And age is immaterial. I was called to wake up a generation of people who think that because they're past the age of 40 or past the age of 50 or past the age of 60, that it's just take life as it comes. And I said, forget that. That's crazy. That don't make no sense. Barbara says, there's no time in God. You have plenty of time to do what it is God has for you to do. Moving forward, when you are open to receive your good, it will come. Yes. And so let us declare with clarity that we are open for our good. I thank you so much for tonight. I sent you guys the link for the mental equivalent. So this book is divided into 4 sections. And so next week, we're going to talk about universal polarity. So there are 2 necessary ingredients that are part of every creation process. There are 2 necessary ingredients that are part of every creation process. And so we're going to talk about what are those 2 things, because when those 2 things are not present, then no manifestation can happen. So if you want to read ahead, you can just literally, if you go to Truth Unity, it has the 4 sections on there. And so we'll start on section 2 next week. If you are interested in my new classes coming up, you can go to revsherri.com and you can put your email list on the like up at the top. The mental equivalent content, we're doing the mental equivalent by Emmett Fox, the mental equivalent. So I said this at the top, but I'll say it again at the end because I don't know who missed this. But I got a comment in the survey that thank you guys so much for your response to the survey. They like amazing help with making sure that I don't miss anything with this private class. But one of the things that came back that I thought was powerful was someone said, this class is very helpful, but it would be great if we had a time where we could just focus on the execution or the application of all the things that we're learning. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the material with Emmett Fox, these first 4 Thursdays. Then we're going to take the next 4 Thursdays and we're going to just focus on applying the material. So we're going to study the material, and then the next 4 weeks after that. So this class period will be an 8-week class period, but those last 4 weeks will be all about the application, the other thing is that I will be doing attendance for those of you that, yes, conferences from theory to practice, yes. I will be doing attendance, and so for those of you that are interested in receiving continuing education units for Universal Foundation for Better Living, for your teacher's license and for your ministerial license, please let me know so that I can keep track of that, because these space time hours that we have for class count towards credits for you for continuing education. So please, email me privately, those of you that need the CEUs. Yes, Constance, I got you. Put my name down for yes. So that you're able to earn continuing education units from this class. And so I will do that. And we got to figure out like a little extra something that you guys need to do, because it does have to be a class, but we'll figure out what that is. All right. Have a great week. I want to remind you, those of you that sit live, we will not have class on March 14th because I will be hanging out with the master, Tony Robbins, and walking on fire. So yes, I will do the firewall. I will probably I can't. Well, I don't know what it's gonna be. I'll definitely probably broadcast live from there, like social media or something. But I do plan to walk on fire. I do plan to walk across that fire for sure. Because I'm whatever they say, I'm pushing through limitations. I'm pushing through fears. And if he said stand on your head, turn around and turn a flip, I'm standing on my head, turn around and turn a flip. Like whatever it is, the fear is going. Early happy birthday to you, Yvonne. I hope you'll be with us next week, but if not, I wish you a very, very happy birthday. That actually is my nephew's birthday, January 31st. So have a beautiful, beautiful week. Next week, we'll talk about universal polarity. This is the chapter from Emmett Fox's The Mental Equivalent. Uh, Constance says, I was so excited about starting classes with you that I was here by myself Tuesday, waiting for you to show up. Then it dawned on me I'm 2 days early. Yes, yes. Oh, thank you guys. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'm so excited to jump into 2019. This is the year. This is the breakthrough year for everybody. Let's do it together. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.